to meet you.
Hello, hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see everyone back again on a Tuesday evening with Dr. Abraham. I'm Vincent here, and I will be your main host and translator for tonight's session. Okay, for those of you, tonight, okay, Doctor will be discussing with everyone about how much can we trust nutritional products. Okay, and of course, people have this thinking, tend to trust natural food more than supplement. Okay, as natural food has been used for a long time, long history of use. Okay, since the old days we have been eating a lot of natural food. Okay, but the diet nowadays, okay, the diet that we are having nowadays are actually very much different comparing to last time. Okay, so even if a supplement contains the same kind of nutrients as the food, like for example, my vitamin C, okay, people often view that the supplement is synthetic or unnatural. Okay, and of course, and sometimes supplements, nutritional products, okay, are often seen as a profit driven industry. Yeah, okay, that's why some people are, or sometimes we may encounter people also very skeptical about the direct sales business that profit from health claims. Okay, so in contrast, where the whole food are seen as more less commercialized and more trustworthy, right? But in reality, is it really like that? Okay, let us all hear from Dr. Abraham in a short while. Okay, and by the way, for those who are just joining us for the very first time, welcome to our Doctor webinar. So Zinzino is a test-based nutrition and a listed company based in Sweden. Okay, and we are also the world leading company with the largest fatty acid test database. Okay, to date, okay, we had done more than 1.4 million tests so far. So we have a big database, okay, and we know what are the issues, okay, now caused by the modern day diet. And according to this test, okay, 97% of the people worldwide are unbalanced and actually failed their first balance test. Okay, but this was not the case 100 over years ago. Okay, and why is that so? Okay, later on we will hear from doctor as well. And before the end of the session, we will also open up the field for some Q&As. Okay, so this will be a very good opportunity for you to ask Dr. Abraham anything regarding health and products. Okay, I'm sure over the past week, if we have been prospecting, going to the view prospecting, we will have encountered a lot of questions and query from your customer, from your prospects. Okay, those that you are unsure of, feel free to prepare them in advance so that you can ask Dr. Abraham during our Q&A segment. Okay, so before we start, let me give everyone a short introduction of Dr. Abraham. Doctor is based in KL, Malaysia, and has been in the medical field, worked in a hospital for about 50 years already. So he is very experienced and has helped a lot of patients back to their health. Even though he's a medical doctor, he truly believes in the holistic approach to keeping our body healthy. And right now, he's also in the health and product advisory board for Zenzino and has been working very closely with the rest of the board members to develop better and wonderful product for you and the market. Okay, I can't wait to get the session started. So without further ado, let us all type in 888 into the chat box to give our warmest applause to welcome Dr. Abraham. Doctor, please.
Yes. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you. And very good evening for those who are joining us for this session. Today, I thought maybe it's time to address the reliability of products. Now, when it comes to looking at products, there are literally thousands of products in the market. It's necessary that we know how these products are formulated, packaged, and finally marketed, and what is their reliability. It's a good time to think about it because at the end of it, I'm going to give you a solution which is available with only a few companies in the market and this part of the world only from Zinzino. Now, as we talk, I'd like to focus on the points. And so let me share some uh, slides with you. Okay, here uh, we are told that the world market for nutritional products or supplements is close to 150 billion. Not only is it really high, but they are expecting it to literally double in the next 5 years to about 300 billion. Now, that's a lot of money. Why do people buy this? Because they have a lot of trust in this. But can we place our trust on products that come on the shelf? If so, how much of trust can we put in? But to understand all this, we need to look at how or where the starting point is for a particular product, what process it goes through, and when does it reach your hands. Okay. Now, it's a very long process with a lot of protocols, but I'm going to be a little brief today because I want you to see the whole picture quickly, not to be bogged down by all the details. So let me start with the first thing. Now, when you want a product to be marketed or to sell, or you are impressed with it, how do you come across that? The first thing is people notice that there is what is called random observation here and there. In research, they call it anecdotal observation. Like somebody said, hey, if you take oxtail soup, it's good for your backache. And then you meet people on and off over the years who say the same thing. And then you ask around, you notice that more than the usual number of people are saying, hey, yala, it does help. So now you have what is called an anecdotal observation. Now, when someone who's serious or any company that is serious, they want to look into this kind of observation, the next thing they look for is to get a team and do a survey. Okay, so they go and ask people, have you taken something like this? Not just the product, a preparation of that. Have you noticed anything? And when they do a survey, if the number of people who give positive reports, it may vary a lot. Some people say, wow, it's fantastic. And some people might say, yeah, it did help me a little bit. So looking at this statistical survey, you come to a conclusion, hey, this is worth looking into. Okay. Usually, when we come to this kind of an ingredient, it's a traditional formula. Okay. Not a new formulation or drug. It is something that is traditional, either from food or herbs or some kind of a mixture. And so they look at the making of that formula. Okay. Now, here I want to give you a bit of a story here, how this thing can actually develop into something that's big. Okay. For example, many years ago, heart failure was treated by a drug called Digitalis. It's not used anymore, but about 50, 60 years ago, that was the only drug that was available. How did they come to get this particular drug? This was in the 1600s. That's a long time ago, 350 years ago. There was an English doctor in one of the kampong areas, and on and off, he used to see patients uh, with heart failure. Once you are diagnosed with heart failure in those days, your lifespan is a maximum of 6 months. Okay. So, usually with such people, they tell them to settle their affairs, go home and rest, cut down on your fluid intake, maybe cut down your salt. That's it. Now, one day when this physician was going to a neighboring kampong for a pasar malam, that's an evening market, he noticed at least two of his patients walking around there, and he remembered them that they had heart failure diagnosed 2 years before that. And here he saw them walking around. So he stopped them, spoke to them, and found out what was going on. They have been taking a herbal concoction which they got from an old lady in a nearby village. And so he traced it, went down, met the lady, got her to show what she does, and he found that she was putting into a pot boiling about, I forget now, and the account varies a little bit, anything between 18 to 19 different herbs. And patients are asked to drink that. When they drink, the heart failure seems to settle and they not return to 100% normal, but enough to move around and survive for this long. So he got fascinated. He started using that. He got the formula from that lady. What are the herbs that go in? This is in the 1600s, not many good records. So we don't even know the name of that lady, and we don't have the 18 herbs. Okay. Now, this doctor, because he was trained as a doctor and he was also a botanist, someone who studies plants. So what he did, he went back, he gave this concoction to his patients, and every two or three patients, he will cut down the herbs by one. So it was 18, next one was 16, 15, 14, and so when he found that, say, at just 12 herbs, it's not working, he will include the 13 herbs and start cutting down different herbs. And after about a year and a half, he zeroed in on one herb that was actually doing the job. Today we know it very common, you see. This name is very common. It's called foxglove, and the extract of that is digoxin or digitalis. Now, this medicine later was picked up by drug companies. They made it into a medication. It is still a herbal extract, single one. You give that, you can control heart failure. Traditional formula. Not all formulas turn out this way. Many formulas fail actually. So you go through this observation, you do a survey, and it's worthwhile looking at it and analyzing it. It could be food, not just herbs. Okay. Now you want to produce this in large amount to market it. So we need to have a look at the production methods. Now, when it comes to production methods, a few things in the market that I need to tell you. Some nutritional products can be synthesized, that is, made up in the laboratory. Example, vitamin C. Vitamin C has been studied so much, we know the formula very well. And if you want to keep extracting from vegetables and fruits, it's going to be very expensive. And since we know the formula, we can synthesize this. We can't do with all the products, some of it. And vitamin C is one of the few. We can synthesize vitamin C exactly as it occurs in nature. So many products that are sold as natural vitamin C are actually synthesized. They are allowed to call it natural because it is the exact same formula. Okay. However, there are certain things which we must use an extraction method because we cannot synthesize it. We cannot make it in the laboratory. Okay. So when you extract from a natural source, uh, you have to look at the cost. Now, if you squeeze, for example, if you squeeze a plant to get the extract, you have to squeeze quite a lot of plants to get a small amount. Then, of course, with the progress in chemistry, they find that if you add certain chemicals and have a procedure, you can actually extract more. For example, oil from seeds, whether it is soya bean oil, sunflower oil. If you squeeze it, there is a certain amount. But if you extract it by chemical means, you can get more of the oil. It is only recently we find when you use chemical methods it may not be that healthy. And therefore, now we still do what is called a cold press. You squeeze it. Not like those days. Now they have better methods and you can get more out of that seed or flower or herb. However, it will not be the same amount as when you use other methods, chemical methods. So cold press oils are more expensive. Okay. Now, when some of this chemic extracts that come out and you want to, it's a liquid form, you want to make it in powder form, they use what is called a freeze dry method. Now, all these are more expensive. So there are methods of extraction. Now, when you want to go through the production, you have to speak to a specialist and say, okay, I've got three ingredients and I think it's going to help for whoever is taking it. Can I put it together? So he will study that. They are specialized in mixing different ingredients. Why? They want to know whether it interacts with them. One will block the other, or actually, when you put it together, the total effect is going to be better than if you take it individually. So you have to go through this process where you study your ingredients and see whether you can put it together. Now, some preparations are done in such a way that in preparing it, you have already done part of the work of the stomach. In other words, you have partly digested the food. So when you present it, the body can absorb it easier. A simple example would be canned beans. If you cook beans on your own, you have to cook a long time. Not only that, when you eat those beans, your stomach, your digestive system takes a longer time to break it down. Okay. But if it is canned beans, it has already gone through a process where many of these things are broken down. So this is an exception, for example. Most canned foods are not that healthy, but there are two products I can tell you offhand that are actually healthier than the original. One is beans. Of course, you take off the sauce that it comes with. Just take the beans. The other one would be tomato puree or tomato paste. It has been processed. See, tomato has to be processed to a certain extent to release the antioxidant called lycopene. Now, that one is more released in concentrated form, easily absorbed in tomato puree that comes in cans or tomato paste, which is even more concentrated. So, some preparations during production can or need to go through the process uh, to not exactly digestion, but part of it. That's why we say pre-digesting. Now, some ingredients need to be protected. For example, there is an antioxidant called resveratrol. Now, if you take that, you'll find that not much gets into the body because it gets broken down in the stomach in the acid environment. Not much will survive past that. Of course, now we have technology to help you with that. So it is, in a way, covered. Okay. These particles of the resveratrol are covered in a way they will survive the stomach acidity. So preventing breakdown in the stomach is another production process that is, well, adding cost. Okay. Now, let's look at the product itself. Once it has gone through all that, now the product somewhat is ready in a raw form. We have to study and make sure it is stable. If this product is nice and pure and concentrated, within 2 to 3 months it starts breaking down, then you cannot market such a product. So you have to study it for stability. Sometimes you can do the study by some chemical method. Other times you just have to keep the product on the shelf for the time needed. Okay. So does it start breaking down in 2 months, 2 years? Does it start earlier but continues only after 2 or 3 years? 80% is gone. All this need to be studied. So the stability, the breakdown time, and this how quickly this breaks down will also give you an expiry duration. Now, after 2 years, check the product again. Is the concentration the same or is it less? When you made the product, it's 100% content as given in the label. Let's say 50 milligrams. 1 year later, if it is only 40 milligrams, you're going to have trouble because the expiry date you're allowed to put on a product is up to 2 years. So if somebody checks it and find that after 1 year, it's not the same amount, problem. Okay. Now, sometimes when all these ingredients are together, okay, immediately there may not be a problem, but with time, 6 months, 1 year, maybe there is an interaction between the ingredients. You see the amount of preparation that goes into trying to get a product in the market. And once you feel that all that is over, it is not done yet. Now, after all that is over, you have to retest again and to see after all that, is the content the same as in the label? It has to be same, if not more. Anything less, you may be pulled up for it. Now, some people do clinical studies. When it comes to nutritional product, very, very, very few companies do clinical product studies. Why? It's expensive, it takes time, and by the time you're done with it, you could have put in a few $1 million organizing the study, and when you publish it or quote it as proof, other nutrition companies can make use of that information without having to spend the millions of dollars. So most nutrition companies do not go into clinical studies for their product. They depend on studies of the ingredients. Okay. Now, they must also look at literature that outlines any side effects that might come out of it. You could be taking a perfectly normal ingredient, maybe zinc. You need zinc, about 18 milligrams. Your preparation is 20 milligrams. That's fine. Some people take 2 tablets. Okay, you may have been short on zinc, but and you're topping up for a while. But if you keep taking an overdose of that, you will have side effects. So all this has to go into the warnings given in the instruction there. Some of it is very simple, straightforward, but some side effects could be a problem, and therefore it's better to avoid. So when you make a product and there is a possibility of side effects long term, it's better to avoid it. Any other factors? Your product is now ready. You've gone through all those steps. Now, how are you going to market the product? You have to put a price on it. You started off with all the good ideas. You put the best ingredients. You get the latest production machines and come out with a fantastic product. Let's say you've got toothpaste. Yours is the best toothpaste in the market. But after the cost of the ingredients, which is good stuff you put in, and the way you prepare it, production, so that it lasts long, you find that you have to price it, let's say, twice the cost of the average toothpaste in the market. Can you sell such a product? You can't. People won't buy a toothpaste that is 100% costlier than the next toothpaste on the shelf. So all this has to be taken into account, and including the pricing. You can play a little bit depending on how you are going to market your product. Okay. Then you got to look at what is already in the market. Others have come with maybe not as good as that, but nearly as good. But if yours is going to be double the cost, there is going to be a problem. So you need to know not only your product is safe, effective, must be also cost effective. Okay. Now, for that, you have to do a lot of work, a lot of market research. You have to bring in specialists who are involved in that kind of a thing. They'll come and give you a breakdown. This is what is happening. This is what we have in the market. And in the near future, this is what possibly could happen. Therefore, you have to position yourself in such a way that you will be able to survive in the market and make it. Okay. Okay. Got your costs down. You got your products, everything ready. How are you going to package it? What type of product do you have? Depending on that, it will determine exactly how do you want to package it. Some preparations can be given only as injection. Now, immediately, this will be only through health care professionals. Okay, so that's a limited market. But stuff that can be consumed can be in the form of all this powder, liquid, capsule, soft gel, some of it, like for example, melatonin, you can put it under the tongue. Sublingual means just putting it under the tongue. Absorption is better, but not for all. Melatonin, vitamin B12, sublingual, the application is better. Okay. Some can be applied on your skin, like hormones, for example. Not all hormones, some hormones, you just rub it on your skin, it gets absorbed. So now this will depend on the type of product, what it hopes to achieve by way of positive effect will determine in what manner you want to present it. Okay. Liquid, capsule, powder, so on and so forth. Now, next thing is, how are you going to market the product? Okay. Let's say you got a very good toothpaste, which is not much more expensive, maybe 20% more expensive, and you put it on the shelf. Will it sell? It may sell, it may not sell. Because somebody looking at it, well, toothpaste, you want to whiten your teeth a little bit, clean up your teeth. Why do I need to pay 20% more? Now, the um, pharmacist who holds that, or in any shop that is being sold, they have many brands. They are not going to sit down and analyze it all for you about all the products. So your product is better, a little costlier, but there's nobody to explain the details. It may not move. And this is why almost a century ago, a new kind of marketing was developed where you actually explain to the customer what your product is. I'm sorry, this light is giving a little bit. So this is called multi-level marketing. Most of you are aware of that. Now that's another way of marketing. And of course, some stuff can be only through professionals, either in the clinic or in hospital and so on. Okay. Um, where are we? Marketing. Okay. Now, the pricing, just to expand a little bit, if your product is patented. Now, that means you have found a new combination and you can apply to the government to say you don't want anybody to copy this. Okay. Then you have to present to them how much money you have spent researching it and total expenditure on developing the product. The government may accept it as something original. They look at your cost you have spent, what price you're going to market it, and they will give you a period. It can vary from 3 years to 5 years. Some drugs get a patent for 10 years, during which time nobody can compete with you. Okay. Only you are in the market. Now, if you are like that, you got a formula like that, wow, you can do very well. But be ready the moment your patent is finished. Okay. Everybody has already, all competitors have analyzed your product. They know exactly what is the proportion they're getting ready. If the patent agreement with the government expires today, tomorrow they're going to launch your product. So even then, you have to price, even though you're alone in the market, you've got to price it in such a way that when competition does come in, yours is still reasonable. Okay. There's always the advantage of someone who makes a product first. Someone can analyze your product and so much of ingredient of, let's say 3 ingredients, 10 milligrams of the first ingredient, 20 of the second, 30 of the third. Anybody can analyze that. Can they duplicate your product? Not that easy, because the protocol is how do you mix it? When do you mix it? At what temperature you mix it? Now, that protocol the company will not tell you. So you may know the ingredients and you put all the ingredients together and make some cake. But the cake may not be as tasty as someone else who has used the same amount of flour, sugar, and egg and all that, but comes out fantastic. See? So even if there is a competition, if you have some tricks like that, you can still compete in the market. Okay. Then, of course, once patent is over, you may have to look at discounts. Now, as time goes on, cost of ingredients, production, packaging, everything is going to go up. And then there has to be a revision of your price. Now you begin to get the picture of how difficult it is, how competitive it is, and how much of manpower, planning, office space, factory space is involved in getting it. Now, currently, we are fortunate in the sense that lay people need not have to go through all that information that I presented to make sure you're getting really a good product. Why? A couple of things, but one main thing is there has been a lot of progress in laboratory techniques. Now we can analyze stuff right down to 1 part per billion. We can analyze contents of the cell membrane, not commercially available yet, but in very high-tech laboratories, this is available. Okay. So we can now, not for all products, certain products, we can actually test the blood to see what you have been taking has benefited you or not. So when that comes in, you don't have to worry about whether this is working for you, whether it was sourced out from the right places, whether it is pure, and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is available, especially here in this part of the world, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, for omega-3 at the moment. Now, Zinzino has developed several tests. Not all of them are available here in this market. Right now, what is available is test for your cell membrane content of omega-3s, omega-6, omega-9, saturated fatty acids. That's about 11 different fatty acids, okay, which is very helpful to know because you want to know whether the product is working for you. By the way, omega-3 of fish oil is in the top 3 to 5 of the 200 or so nutritional products sold in the market worldwide. In other words, it's extremely important. So to be able to test an important ingredient like that and to know where you stand after taking a particular preparation, very helpful. Okay. Uh, Zinzino doesn't do the test. It is done by a laboratory which is independent. Some of you may want to check it out. This laboratory is known as VITAS, VITAS in Norway. It's an internationally known lab. They're on the list of WHO for specialized tests. Very high tech kind of testing. They do the testing. They have done more than 1.5 million such tests for Zinzino. That means they have done much, much more than that because they do it for other clients too. Zinzino alone, 1.5 million plus. Now, from all those tests, they find omega-3, well, 97% of the people who do their tests for the first time, 97% are short on omega-3. Now, some of you may be asking, who are the 3%? They are people who take omega-3 products, good quality, high dose, probably very expensive. Okay. So now that we have come to this stage, I think even though you know what goes on behind the scenes, you don't have to toil through information in any website to see whether these products are good or not. And let me take this opportunity to introduce the Zinzino products that are available in the market here. This is the balance oil. We don't call it omega-3 because you have more than omega-3. Omega-3 in appropriate doses. In fact, the servings are very good. It will more than satisfy your daily requirement. In addition to that, we have also vitamin D3, which is very important. We also have omega-9, and the biggest or the most critical part that makes this product work is a set of antioxidants called polyphenols extracted from extra virgin olive oil through very traditional methods by a specific farm, olive farm in Cyprus. Zinzino has gone through quite a few of this from Italy, from Spain, and they've been looking around and they found that this is the most potent kind of polyphenol you can get in the market. That is what is added here, and it is added with a certain concentration in a particular way that makes the product very effective. That is why we are confident enough to introduce this test. So those who have not taken the test, I would say, urge you to take it and see where you stand. Because whether you've been taking omega-3 products, not taking it, you need to know where you stand. And then you take the product and recheck again. Normally, we advise a gap of 120 days because this test is done by checking the membrane of the red blood cell. All our red blood cells are changed every 120 days. Okay. But I also notice in this part of the world, not many people are patient enough to wait 4 months. So usually 2 months, they want to know. You can do it. You may not have reached your optimum, but you can see the trajectory, whether it's going up or not. Okay. So do your test before and one on the way or preferably after. Okay. We also have two other products. Now, the test for this fiber product is being still worked out by the Product and Health Advisory Board in Zinzino in Sweden. I'm one of the members. I attend this meeting and I see the discussion between the scientists who are involved, and they are working on it right now. Now, here is a product that is very unique, exclusively available only in Southeast Asia. Okay. Um, this is a multivitamin trace mineral antioxidant product. You won't see this anywhere else here. In fact, there's no other product to match the ingredients. Very potent product. So you may want to look at this. But today I want to focus on this because we've been talking about the production, and we know that we don't have to worry too much because the end result is it working for you? And we have the test for it. Okay. So I'm going to stop here, and maybe you have some questions to ask me, and or clarifications of what I've spoken about, and or any other questions with regards to our three products in the market. You can type your questions even in Mandarin. Vincent will be able to tell me exactly what it is about. Not just questions, any comments you want to make, you're most welcome. What is the maximum dosage for balance oil? Now, Wong, this it's like, let me say, a balance oil is actually food. What is the maximum dose for food? Normally we say don't overeat lah. So what we recommend is on the bottle. Anybody below 80 kilograms, half a tablespoon. Now I can quote the ml, 7.5 ml, 12 ml. Not many people measure it like that. But if you ask me to tell you about the local scene, the most consistent one is our tablespoon. So children and anyone up to 70 or 80 kilograms, half a tablespoon is more than enough. Now, someone who's older will need about 3/4 of the tablespoon. Jenny, if someone is on statin, can he take balance oil? If you ask me, he must take balance oil. Okay. Will it bring down the cholesterol? No. Why do I say that? Because you can't establish a direct relationship from balance oil to cholesterol. Okay. However, balance oil works on the body system. It's going to strengthen many areas. Via that, it may positively affect triglycerides mainly. Okay. Of course, if you're taking statin, don't suddenly stop. You know what will happen? Not only will your cholesterol go up, it may go up higher than before. So work with your doctor, take the balance oil. You must take all the other precautions. Okay. Careful with your diet, a little bit of exercise, cut down your stress, get enough sleep. Stress alone can raise your cholesterol levels. Okay. Um, so work on all that and take it. Yes, someone who's on statin can take balance oil. In fact, if you ask me, should take. Can a pregnant lady take balance oil and Velixir or Xenobiotic? Yes, she can take all three. However, the doctor who is doing the medical follow-up, the gynecologist, will not be happy with Velixir unless he sees the formula or the pictures and all that, because they are very, very careful that expectant mothers should not take a product that may have herbal extracts. Now, I can tell you, Velixir does not have herbal extracts, but that one you need to show your doctor so that he's happy. Balance oil, you can tell him, I'm taking fish oil. Is that okay? In fact, it's extremely important. Now, the component called DHA in omega 3, extremely important for the development of the brain of the fetus, particularly in the last 3 months of pregnancy and following that if you are breastfeeding. Okay, so balance oil, very important. And during pregnancy, bowel movements can be sometimes a little bit of a challenge. Xenobiotic will help that. Why is it that a customer complained of skin that's more dry after taking balance oil? Now, balance oil, okay, the EPA can contribute to retention of skin moisture, but it is not the only exclusive thing that works for that. You need to have enough of protein. Now, most of the protein in the skin is collagen. Okay, you can take collagen directly or take some protein. And of course, depending on your age group, the older you are, the secretion of oils on the skin may be getting less, or you may be exposing yourself to uh, sunlight. So it's good to add a little bit of moisture to the skin. Okay. Old people taking blood thinner, can they take balance oil? Yes, they can, but please inform your doctor who's prescribing the blood thinner. Okay, just to be on the uh, side where your doctor is confident that you're not taking something funny. Of course, if they say don't take balance oil, omega 3, you could discuss with your doctor. What are you going to discuss? Ask your doctor, can I take fish? I don't think he's going to say no. So maybe you can say, if I can take fish, why not fish oil? Have a discussion, not challenging each other. Just to discuss about that. Okay. Okay, Ong, I hope you can get some cooperation from your doctor. Now, Viola, after my second test, I have been advised to take primrose oil or similar. Does that mean balance oil is not enough for my situation? Now, some of you who are older may remember that about 25 years ago, I think, pri- evening primrose oil is very popular. Okay. Now, evening primrose oil is actually omega 6. Omega 6 is another important oil. Why we don't focus on that is we realized that, our cooking oil, which became popular because it's cheaper, it's easier to cook, you can add more oil, and there was a lot of talk about taking unsaturated fatty acids, which are healthy. Now we know it's not. Too much of that is bad. So we've got too much of omega 6 in our blood. Um, so we don't need to take omega 6 or evening primrose oil. However, there are people who are very, very careful with their diet. They don't use much oil. They could be low on omega 6. And omega 6 is another important oil that the body needs and cannot synthesize, particularly for your hormones and all that. So if you belong to that group and your test comes out as low, it's better to take good quality omega 6 rather than top up on your cooking oil. So yes, Viola, if you are low on that, I would suggest you take primrose oil if you would like to. That's good quality omega 6. Okay. Only thing you need to check again. See, we don't want too much of omega 6 because evening primrose oil went out of the market because people started taking it while neglecting omega 3. And that ratio is important. Omega 6 3 times compared to omega 3. If you lose that ratio, you get inflammation in the body. So, okay. So, yes, if you're low on it, you can take primrose oil, but keep an eye on the blood test results. Do we have certification that Velixir is not oxidized after processing? Yes, we have. Now, there are many uh, rules and regulations by the government in the MLM market. Okay. Any test results cannot be shared with the members with a view to marketing. You're not allowed to use certificates for marketing purposes. So someone who wants to check it out maybe need to drop into the office and we can show the test done by one of the topmost antioxidant laboratories in the world from the US. We have that certificate. Jenny, normally fruits turns dark even within 20 minutes of cutting. How can Velexir remain good after processing? You're right. Now, what happens is when you cut a fruit, you get exposed to air. So oxygen can start oxidizing the cut surface. Now you see that most easily in an apple. Okay. It doesn't mean the whole fruit is gone. That surface area gets oxidized. So if you slice a little deeper, it'll be okay. But if you leave it too long, oxidation keeps going further into the fruit. Okay. Once you take this and you put it into a product and seal it, I think you have seen our sachet, very high quality plastic, mainly to make sure there's no oxygen that gets in. Okay. So I also advise members when you want to take Velexil, you can pour it out on the into a cup. Don't leave it open for too long. When I say too long, not even half a minute. Pour it out and swallow the whole thing straight so that you don't lose the antioxidants into the air. My customer starts to have skin irritation after taking balance oil and elixir. Is that common? Now, it's not common. Some people are allergic to anything that is of seafood origin. Now, I would say cut down on the servings. Don't start off with a bang, everything together, maximum dose possible. No, start slowly. Start with one product first, smaller amount in someone who reacts that quickly. Most people don't. Some people do. So take a break, maybe 1 week, let it settle down, restart with a lower serving. When is the best time to consume Velexir, Balance Oil, Xenobiotic? Okay. Velexir preferably before evening. It has got a lot of antioxidants. For some people, it may be stimulating. So if you take late at night, sleep, it may disturb your sleep. Not necessarily, but it could. So I mean, you want more energy during the daytime anyway, because you're working, you see. So morning, afternoon, early evening, yes. Balance oil, you can take it anytime. Okay. Some people like to take it in the morning. Some people say, I can't take oil early morning. So anytime. When should you coordinate? It works. I mean, the absorption is better if you take it with food. Okay. So maybe after a major meal like a lunch or dinner. Xenobiotic is fiber. I find that the best way to take it is, I mean, we have a scoop inside there. One scoop in water for each major meal. So 2 glasses of water, you can use that as a drink for your meals, and you're done. Okay. Is it true that balance oil should be eaten with the most oily meal? Not necessarily. All meals have some oil. Why I said with meals is when you have a meal, there is a good flow of bile coming out to help with the digestion. Now, bile is necessary to digest oil. So you've taken balance oil, one. Number two, mixes with food, you have a larger surface area of that oil and bile comes out. So your digestive process will be a little bit more efficient. My client developed frequent defecation after consuming balance oil. Why? Old stuff coming out. Now, some people experience this because it is oil, it's going to smoothen your lining intestine. So if they have had constipation, some people say, no, 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 I never had constipation. I always go to toilet every day. You may, but you may not be evacuating fully. So this will be for those who had that problem, or it may be a short-term thing because it, well, it causes the lining of the intestine to be a little slippery. Now, this was one of the cures for constipation we used to give 40 years ago, not omega-3 oil. There's another oil, okay? So not to worry, but if it is something that is bothering them, they can stop it for a day or two, start with a lower serving, smaller serving with meals. It won't cost them. The test shows I am omega-3 deficient. Now I take 1 tablespoon daily. So I have, do I have to up my intake? 10 ml, maybe you can increase it to 12 lah. 12 will be 3/4 of a tablespoon. Yeah, that should be enough. Uh, don't have to overdo it so that you can catch up fast. No, the body has a rate of using this up. Now, when you take omega-3, it goes through literally, you can say, hundreds of reactions before it gets into the cell. When you take too much, you may also jam up the place. You must take enough to a point where you maximize the protocol or the process. So 10 to 12 ml is enough. You will catch up. Why are those with low blood pressure feel giddy with 10 ml? Now, low blood pressure itself can cause lightheadedness. Now, in some people, the effect of lowering blood pressure can be quite, well, immediate with balance oil. That is one of the actions, but it takes a while. But in some people, it can be a little faster. Now, I would say cut down the serving. Okay. Now, the basic cause of the low blood pressure, check it out. There may be low hemoglobin, which can cause low blood pressure, or the patient may be very low body weight, in which case they need to take steps to put on some weight. Can balance oil take together with omega-3? Balance oil has enough omega-3, so you don't have to add another product with omega-3. Okay, Patricia, balance oil has omega-3, omega-9, vitamin D3. Oh, that's already more than enough. Will balance oil make people fatter due to the oil intake? Now, an average person requires about 2000 to 2500 calories per day, the food that you eat in a day. 2000, very thin, small lady, about 1800. Now, 1 tablespoon of balance oil is just under 60 calories. So it should not contribute uh, to making somebody increase in body fat weight. Yes, Jenny, thank you for that feedback. Uh, for those with poor gastric health, can you advise? Yes, those with, you see, most people living in Malaysia, Singapore have some stomach disturbance. Okay. Now, that is due to a number of reasons. One is our food. There's no food in the world which has a combination like this. We have a combination of local, East Asian, sub South Asian, and Western all together here. And sometimes mixed, not separate, also mixed. Okay. So we do have problems with our food. Two things. One, the stuff that is prepared can be irritating to the intestinal lining. Okay. So the only way you can strengthen yourself to be, well, less affected by all this will be to alter the friendly bacteria proportion in your gut. For that, you need to take xenobiotic, okay, and omega-3 oil to help with the immune system. 70% of your immune system is lined up in the gut. So when you take this over time, you will have less and less stomach and intestinal disturbances. Elderly people taking oil have diarrhea. Cut down the amount. Okay. Sometimes you may need to take maybe just half teaspoon, but then you can give it twice a day. They may need more time to process it, not at one go. Okay. Very good questions today, I must say.
Yes, a lot of questions. I'm like
Yeah,
also
yeah.
many questions, and I'm very sure they would have benefited from your tips and advice. All right. Okay,
Thank
let us
you.
all give Dr. Abraham a round of applause one more time. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, and of course, after today's session, I hope everyone understand the difference between our zero range of product, okay, such as the oil, our Valencia xenobiotic. What is the key difference between our product as comparing to the rest of the products that are sold in the market? Okay, and there's a lot of there's a big difference in terms of the quality and how it can benefit our body. And all of this can be verified by science, okay, which is the Zenzino balance test. Okay, and I'm very sure this has been our daily nutrition for the past month, and I personally can feel a lot of difference after taking the Zenzino products. Okay, so if you like what doctor had shared earlier but have not tried taking any of our products, okay, talk to the person who invite you to the call. Okay, but before you start taking, okay, we strongly recommend you to do a balance test first, so you know your position, your current health status. And once you have taken the test, you can take the balance oil, the Valencia, the xenobiotic for 120 days. Uh, After 120 days later, do a second test again to see your results. Okay, and as mentioned earlier, we have done more than 1.4 million tests. And we can be very sure that and confident that you will definitely see an improvement in 120 days. All right. Okay. Today, I'm going to do something a bit special today. Okay, because I'm going to do a customer presentation now in English due to some requests. Okay, for those of you who would like to listen to the customer presentation, okay, you can stay on the line, okay, as I will be sharing about the importance of balance concept, balance test, as well as how to become our premium customers to enjoy affordable products daily, right? But I also understand it's getting a bit late now. Okay, so for those of you who are busy or may have listened to the customer presentation before, it's okay for you to leave the sharing. All right. Okay, so I will be doing the sharing today. You don't have to be here for those of you who have listened before. Okay, because this is for the benefits for those who have not heard of this customer sharing. All right. Okay, and I will be touching on this. The customer sharing that I'm going to do is the English version. Okay, and I will also be talking about balance concept, the balance test. Let me just pull up the slides. Okay. Okay. Most of you, I think most of you had heard before, seen before. But if you would like to like to listen to this again, because as you listen to a few more times, you would have it's in fact it's better for you. Okay, you can remember better, and you may actually share this with your customer as well. Okay. Okay, the customer presentation. Okay, so all right. So I will continue now. Okay, this will probably take about 30 minutes. All right. Okay, so of course everyone want to be healthy, want to be fit. Okay, but at the same time, health related problems are actually on the rise now. Okay, you realize more and more people are having a lot of chronic illness, like for example, high blood pressure, diabetes, difficulty in walking, or may have some heart problems, etc. Okay, autoimmune autoimmune disorder, okay, etc. Why is that so? It's likely due to our modern day diet, okay. Okay, 100 over years ago, we used to eat food from Mother Nature. So at that point of time, okay, the food that we have are natural. They contains a lot of vitamins, minerals, phyton, nutrients, beta glucans, fiber, healthy fats, and you can get a good balance of omega-6 and omega-3. However, fast forward, now we are 2025, okay? You realize we are eating a lot of man-made food. Some call it processed food or ultra-processed food. Okay, one trip to the supermarket, you see a lot of canned food, a lot of instant food. Okay, and most of us are actually working as well. Okay, busy with our work, eating fast food, etc. So the food that we are having nowadays are low in key nutrients, high in sugar, full of empty calories, low in fiber, and of course you are not getting the balance between omega-6 and omega-3. So in Zinzi, why are we focusing so much on this omega-6 and omega-3? We call this the balance concept, okay? In fact, omega-6 and omega-3, okay, these are what we call the essential fatty acids, okay? Why is it essential? Because we need this nutrition. We need both omega-6 and omega-3, okay? And yet our body cannot create them on our own, okay? We need to get omega-6 and omega-3 from the food that we are eating. So even though we cannot create omega-6, right? But the food that we are eating, okay, contains a lot of omega-6. Our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner, our supper contains a lot of omega-6. The char kway teow, the chicken rice, nasi lemak, curry, okay, all the food that we are eating contains a lot of omega-6. Okay, where does this omega-6 come from? It comes from the processed food. It comes from the cooking oil that we are using, right? So it contains a lot of omega-6, and omega-6 cause inflammation to our body. Okay, we need a little bit of inflammation. Okay, but the food that we are eating nowadays contains too much of omega-6, and that's why we are getting a lot of inflammation. And long-term inflammation may lead to a lot of chronic illness. Okay, so now we know a little bit of omega-6. So what is then omega-3? Okay, omega-3 also comes from the food that we are eating, but not many food sources contain omega-3. The standard food source that contains omega-3 are like fish, seafood, nuts. All right, so not many food sources contain omega-3, and a lot of people know that omega-3 is very, very important. Okay, it's good for our brain, our skin, our heart. Okay, but at the same time, it can help to control and manage this inflammation. So omega-6 cause inflammation to the body. Omega-3 reduce and manage the inflammation. All right, so we need both. Okay, we need both omega-6 and omega-3, but we need them at the right ratio, and then that's when we are considered healthy. And science recommend 3:1 and below. Okay, 3 portion of omega-6 is to 1 portion of omega-3. When we are 3:1 and below, we are balanced, we are healthy. All right, we can control and manage this chronic inflammation, therefore reducing the risk of having chronic illness. Unfortunately, due to the modern day diet, 97% of the people are out of balance, are more than 3:1. 97% of people are more than 3:1. In fact, in this part of the world, Malaysia, Singapore, I would say up to 99% of people are out of balance. Okay, so what happens when we are out of balance? Okay, our body from head to toe will have a lot of inflammation because we are getting too much omega-6 from the food that we are taking. As mentioned earlier, our breakfast, lunch, dinner, even supper contains a lot of omega-6, and omega-6 is pro-inflammatory. Whereas we are not eating enough seafood, not eating enough fish, okay, and that's why we are not getting enough omega-3, and omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. When the pro-inflammatory omega-6 is higher than the omega-3 anti-inflammatory omega-3, our body will be out of balance, and we will have inflammation. And we are human, we have to eat, right? So if we don't change our diet, okay, this inflammation will become a long-term inflammation or chronic inflammation. This is when all this chronic illness might just pops up. Okay, so I'm very sure we don't want any of this to happen to us. Okay, so in order for us to reduce the risk of having chronic illness, we have to we have to manage this chronic inflammation, and that can be achieved when we are here, when we are balanced. Okay, All right, so this is the statistic for Singapore. Okay, cancer happen in 1 in 3 Singaporeans. This is quite bad now. Okay, it's quite serious problem. 20, 30 years ago, it's not this serious, but nowadays it's getting very serious, and more people are getting them at the younger age. And according to Ministry of Health, okay, 1 out of 3 deaths in Singapore is due to heart disease or stroke. Okay, so this is also a very major problem as well. In fact, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer worldwide, not just in Singapore. And this is how it affects our body cell, okay, when we are unbalanced. Okay, remember, up to 99% of Singaporeans, Malaysians, we are unbalanced. This is how our cell will look like. You can see that, we are all made out of cells, 40 to 60 trillion cells in the body. Has a lot of inflammation, right? Okay, so this is our cell. Okay, our cell is protected by a layer of what we call the cell membrane. There's a cell membrane that's protecting our body cell. It's just like us. Our body is protected by our skin, right? Our skin is protecting us. Our individual cell also has its own skin. Okay, we call this a cell membrane. When we are unbalanced, this cell membrane is hard and rigid. Hard and rigid, meaning to say the food that we are eating, okay, the fruits, vegetables, the nutrition that the nutrients that we are taking, okay, it will not be easily absorbed by our body. Why? Because it's blocked by this hard and rigid cell membrane. Okay, the hard and rigid cell membrane is blocking the nutrition from going in. Okay, that's why we are not absorbing it, and it's like waste of money. We cannot absorb the nutrition. Okay, and you find that you eat already like no use. Okay, all right, and at the same time, the waste material and toxin that went into a body cell, at the same time, it cannot be flushed out easily from the body as well. Okay, because once again, it's being blocked by this hard and rigid cell membrane, cannot come out. Okay, results in very poor metabolism. Okay, and when we cannot flush out 100% of our waste material and toxin from the body, okay, meaning to say there will be a little bit inside us every day by day, bit by bit, the waste material and toxins start to accumulate, and one fine day it may affect the cell health. And obviously, we don't want that to happen. So how can we have a healthy cell? Okay, in order for us to have a healthy cell, we need to have healthy cell membrane, and that can be achieved when we are 3:1 balance between omega-6 and omega-3. Okay, so once we are back balanced, okay, this is how this is how our cell will look like now. The first thing you notice, okay, our body cell can control this inflammation, can manage and control this inflammation. Okay, and at the same time, okay, now you realize that the cell membrane is soft and flexible, and therefore the food nutrition that we are taking now, okay, nutrients can now go in easily, okay, better absorbed by our body. Now you can see much more, it's much more effective now, and the waste material, the toxin can be flushed out better from the body as well. Okay, naturally, when our cell is healthy, we will be healthier too, and the risk of us falling sick will be much reduced. Okay, so ideally we want to be here 3:1. Okay, 3:1, 3 portion of omega-6 is to 1 portion of omega-3. Okay, ideally we want to be here. Unfortunately, due to the modern day diet, okay, 97% of the people worldwide are unbalanced. Okay, so how do we measure? How do we know? Okay, in Syngeno, we have a test. We call this the Syngeno balance test. In fact, I call this a life-changing test. Okay, because from this simple test that you can do at home, okay, you can see so much about yourself that you are unaware of. For example, the amount of inflammation, okay, the immune system, our cell health, our mental strength, our brain and heart health. You can see from this balance test. Okay, it's just a simple dry blood spot test, 2 drops of blood, okay, and you get your results in 3 to 4 weeks time. Okay, so why can you only get the results in 3 weeks time and not immediate? Okay, because we are sending all our clients, our customers, our partner blood sample to a third-party independent lab based in Norway, Oslo, and they are known as Vitas Analytical Service. Okay, so this is an independent laboratory based in Norway, Oslo. Okay, so this Vitas is the official partner of Harvard University, Cambridge University, Oxford University, Oslo University, etc. Because these are all top universities. There are a lot of professors, a lot of doctors, okay, there that need a lot of researchers and reports, they will get VITAS to do it. And VITAS is also a collaborative partner of World Health Organization. So they are the authorized partner of World Health Organization. World Health Organization engaged VITAS to do a lot of reports and research as well. So you see, we are Zinzino, we are not VITAS. Okay, we send all our clients, our customers' blood sample to them so that they can produce a report for each and every one of you. So worldwide, we have done more than 1 million tests. So we actually know what's going on, and result shows that the world is out of balance. Okay, 97% of the people worldwide, okay, are unbalanced, okay, during their first test. 97% of people worldwide are unbalanced, okay, for their first test. In fact, in this part of the world, which is Asia, up to 99% of people are unbalanced. Okay, 100 over years, this is not like that. Okay, when at that point of time everything is natural, the food source are natural, we don't have this problem. But now, due to the modern day diet, okay, man-made food, the processed food, okay, the cooking oil that we are using, okay, most of us are out of balance, and that's why now you see that there are more people getting chronic illness, okay, and more getting them at a younger age. So from this test, from this Zinzino balance test, you can see your test status, you can see your current status, and also you can track your progress as well. In Zinzino, we can bring you back to balance or almost balance in 120 days. So once you are back balanced, 3:1 and below, 3% of omega-6 is to 1% of omega-3, okay, you can now better manage your chronic inflammation inside you, okay, and therefore reducing the risk of getting chronic illness. All right, so bring you back to balance almost 120 days. We have our own teams of teams of scientific advisory board, okay, led by Dr. Paul Clayton, and of course we had Dr. Abraham as well. Okay, so he's also in the team. We have our own patented product, our own manufacturing and R&D, and this is the product that we are talking about, the Balance Oil. So this Balance Oil, as you can see over here, is not just a fish oil, it's so much more. Okay, so the standard fish oil that are sold in the market, usually they are in capsule form, soft gel or capsule form. Okay, so but ours is not. Our Balance Oil is not, it's oil. Okay, it's oil. So we how to consume, we pour out and then we consume like that. Okay, so for sure it's definitely much more effective, okay, because it's oil. Secondly, okay, ours Balance Oil is not 100% fish oil, because 100% fish oil has a problem. Okay, usually they oxidize very easily. Okay, but our Balance Oil contains 60% pure high-grade fish oil from small sustainably wild-caught fish. Okay, we have very high level of omega-3. But what protects the omega-3 from being oxidizing is the 40%. We have added in 40% pre-harvest premium extra virgin olive oil. By the way, this extra virgin olive oil is a unique olive oil. Okay, it's a special kind. Okay, it's not those that we buy off the shelf from the supermarket. Okay, all right. So we have this. We added in 40% of pre-harvest premium extra virgin olive oil. Inside this extra virgin olive oil, you have this antioxidant known as polyphenol, and this is the game changer in the omega-3 industry. With the polyphenol, it helps to keep the balanced oil fresh and potent up to 35 hours. So meaning to say, when we consume all the oil, straight away we start to absorb, correct? Okay, and the balanced oil can be kept fresh and potent inside us up to 35 hours. Okay, even when we are resting, when we are sleeping, our body and our cell is still slowly absorbing the omega-3. Okay, unlike other fish oil in the market, usually they only last 5 to 9 hours. All right, so you can see the time difference. Okay, that's why our Balance Oil works so well. And by the way, our Balance Oil is very fresh and not fishy. Okay, so the whole family can take it and would like to take it as well. So Balance Oil, okay, we had the polyphenol from the pre-harvest extra virgin olive oil is to prevent oxidation and to keep the Balance Oil fresh and potent 35 hours. Okay, so this is the key to maintain the freshness. Okay, and of course, we had high level of omega-3 as well, and extracted from wild-caught fish. You had in just 12 ml of this Balance Oil, you had 2,000 milligrams of omega-3. okay, of which 1,003 milligram is EPA, and then 700 milligram is DHA. Okay, so we had high level of this omega-3 inside this balance oil. Okay, and of course, you have vitamin D3 and vitamin E to boost up the immune system. We had a vegan version of our balance oil as well. So vegetarian, okay, your savior is here. Okay, we provide direct source of omega-3, which is the EPA and DHA. Okay, the most important omega-3 that we need is the EPA and DHA, and our vegetarian, our vegan formula provide you with that. Okay, so Zinzino, we are a listed company based in Sweden. Okay, so the product that we had are of the highest quality and care. Okay, so feel free to take the product and feel free to share as well. Who can benefit from this balance oil? Okay, everyone in the family, whether you are 6 months old, infant, or 10 to 20 years old teenager, 50 years old adults, or 100 years old elderly. Everyone in the family should take, okay, and must take, okay, because there are a lot of health benefit at every stage of your life by just taking the balance oil. Okay, so these are the 18 health claims that are approved by the European Food Safety Authority, that the omega-3 in our balanced oil can help to improve. The main functions are the brain function, the heart function, and the immune system. So the brain and the heart, these are all our major organs. Okay, as we age, okay, they will also start to deteriorate a little bit. Okay, so we have to make sure that we maintain our brain and heart function well. Okay, don't wait until it becomes too serious, then we start taking care of them. It might be too late already. Okay, simple shot of this balance oil. Okay, and will really helps. Okay, daily. Okay, so it can also help to improve our vision, our teeth. Okay, and also fight blood pressure, triglyceride level, blood calcium. Okay, and also reduce blood cholesterol. Okay, so these are all very good. So please don't be selfish. Don't just take it yourself. Feel free to share this with your family as well as your friend as well. Okay, so in order for us to be healthy and be good and be fit, okay, we have to be balanced, and that can be achieved when we are 3:1 balance, 3:1 and below, between omega-6 and omega-3. We have to reach a balance. Okay, so we also have other products like Dr. Abraham mentioned earlier, Xenobiotic. Okay, this is actually a prebiotic. Okay, and can help to restore your gut health. It's actually made out of 8 dietary fiber. Okay, and because our gut, okay, is our second brain. So every day there's a lot of signal, a lot of message between our brain and our gut. Okay, 70% of our immune system is in the gut as well. So we have to make sure that we have a healthy gut. Okay, and xenobiotic can help. Okay, xenobiotic can also help with the cholesterol, reducing cholesterol as well as blood sugar. Okay, skin serum, this for moisturizing, anti-aging, whitening, firming. Okay, natural, you can use this. Okay, our skin serum. Okay, and of course we have Belixia as well. Belixia is a very strong and potent product as well. Okay, contains a lot of vitamins, micro minerals, phytonutrients, high antioxidants. Okay, high antioxidant is very important to neutralize the free radicals. Okay, free radicals will cause aging, cause illness, cause cancer. All right, so you need this and the antioxidant in our elixir to neutralize the free radical. Okay, so and also you had enzymes inside. Okay, these are our brand ambassador. We have a lot of brand ambassador. A lot of athletes are taking the products. Okay, including Olympic gold medalists. Okay, to help to improve their performance as well as to improve their recovery. Okay, improve their recovery. Yeah. So Zinzino, we are a listed company based in Sweden. Okay, we are listed Nasdaq First Off Premier Growth Market, and we have double-digit sales growth every year. We are delivering the product to over 100 countries. Okay, and why are we getting more and more popular? Because since we are a test-based nutrition company. Okay, and test-based nutrition is a global mega trend. Okay, I'm very sure. Look around us. I'm very sure you can see that more and more people are conscious about their health. Okay, a lot of people are taking a lot of products. Okay, 500 million people worldwide are taking some form of omega-3. 1 to 1.5 billion people worldwide are taking some form of vitamins or specialized diet. Okay, so a lot of people are actually taking some forms of products, but in their mind, they will also be questioning, is the product that they are taking, is it really healthy? Is it really benefiting them? So most of the people wants to know if the product that they are taking, is it really working for them or not? Okay. So how do you know if it's work? We have to test, you have to measure. Okay. So without test, you cannot measure, right? And we don't want to wait until for things to happen before you start taking you start looking for solution. That might be too late already. Okay. So as mentioned earlier, more than 1 million people have already got tested, and more than 1 billion by 2050 we will have 1 billion people tested. Okay, and 97% of the people actually failed their first balance test. And in this part of the world, up to 98, 99% of the people failed the test. This is how the test will look like. Okay, will look like. Okay, so in fact, this was my test that I did 4 years ago. Prior to this first test, I was actually on other products for 15 years. Okay, so I have been taking other products, okay, before I start taking the first balance test. Okay, and the results came out, okay, I'm 13:1. Okay, to be honest, I'm very disappointed because I was thinking what happened to the past 15 years when I'm taking the it's not working. It's not working, and it's like the investment is like down the drain. So 13:1. Okay, what do we mean by 13:1? Even if we don't understand this ratio, okay, this means 13 portion of omega-6 is to 1 portion of omega-3. Okay, so what happened when I'm 13:1? Okay, can see the rest of the rest of it is also not as good as well. The rest of the score is not as good as well. So 13:1, there's a lot of inflammation inside me at that point of time, and long-term inflammation might lead to all these problems. And obviously, I don't want them to happen. So what happened is that I start taking the balance oil together with the Velixia. For me, I took Balance Oil and Velixia. During then, there wasn't any, we don't have Xenobiotic yet. So I have these two products. Okay. And 4 months later, after taking the product for 4 months later, I did a second test. Okay. And the results came out 3.4:1. Okay. I'm super happy, to be honest. Okay. Why? Because during this 120 days, during these 4 months, my diet remains the same. I did not change my diet at all. Okay, I'm still eating my char kway teow, nasi lemak, chicken rice, mala, everything the same. Okay, all I did was start to add on the oil and Velixia, and I can see this improvement. Okay, of course, now I have the Xenobiotic, so I'm taking the with Xenobiotic together as well. Okay, so in just 4 months, I can feel a lot of difference. I can see a lot of difference. Okay, I'm more energetic, more focused. The migraine has gone. Can sleep better. The quality of the sleep has improved. Okay, so in just 4 months time, I can see a lot of improvement. And after another 4 months, which is at the 9-month period, I did a third test. In fact, not just myself seeing this improvement, a lot of our customers, a lot of partners have experienced this improvement as well. Okay, so how can you get yourself started? How can you start the balance test, balance oil? Okay, all right, you can become our customer. Okay, you can become our customers. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you how to become our customers. Okay, so sorry, the presentation today is a little bit faster because I know it's getting late. So for those of you who are new, you may find that I'm speaking a bit faster. Not to worry. Okay, if you have any questions regarding this balance oil, balance test, balance concept, feel free to ask to check with people who invite you to the call. Okay, and also we have this recording as well. Okay. All right. So this is the customer package. Customer. Okay. So customer, in fact, we had two type of customer as well. This customer kit is our best-selling customer kit in Zenzino. Okay, we call this the balance oil with test kit. Okay, in fact, we had two type of customer as well as mentioned earlier. Two types of customers. Okay, one is the retail customers. Okay, and the other one is what we call the subscribing customers. Okay, so when if you want to start, okay, you can choose whether you want to become a retail customer, or you want to be a subscribing customers. But of course, by what is retail customers? Okay, you see, retail customers meaning to say you are buying the product for like one time. You want to try, okay, try. So you have to pay this amount, or you have to pay this. You have to become our retail customers, which of course will be more expensive. Okay, let's say for example, just take this graphic for example. Retail customer, one time you want to try it. Okay, you buy one time. Okay, this test kit itself, okay, this test kit itself, one test kit itself, is going to cost you 265 Singapore dollars if retail price. Okay, one test kit is going to cost you 265 Singapore dollars, and you have to test before and after, right? So you need two test kit. 265 times 2, that will be 530. Okay, and of course you have this oil, the balance oil. The retail price for one balance oil is 85 Singapore dollars. $85 Singapore. Okay, and if you and you have two oils, that will be 170. 530 plus 170, that will be 700 Singapore dollars. Okay, if you are not going to be on subscription, just want to try, okay, you have to pay the retail price. Okay, but if let's say you are you are going to be our subscribing customers. Okay, why do you want to subscribe? Okay, because when you subscribe, you can enjoy the product at the more affordable pricing. Okay, you just need to subscribe for at least 6 months. 6 months, and each month will be one bottle of this balance oil. Yeah, you will find that it's much more affordable. Okay, let's take a look at subscribing customers. Okay, subscribing customers is what you see at the bottom. Okay, retail customers are those who are not on subscription. You have to pay the retail price. But if let's say you are on at least 6 months subscription, you will enjoy the premium price. Okay, you will enjoy the premium price. Okay, so the first order, okay, let's say you become our premium customer, right? The first order you pay $320 plus $6 shipping cost. Okay, 320 is the product cost, and $6 will be the shipping cost. So the first time you order with your credit card or debit card, the company will ship you two bottles of oil plus one test kit. So you receive the test kit and the oil, right? Your customer will receive the test kit and the oil. Your customers will do the test first before starting to take the oil. Okay, and every month after that will be on one bottle of balance oil every month. Subscription, one bottle of balance oil every month, and every month he will have to pay only, instead of $85, you will only pay 59 plus $3. Okay, 59 will be for one bottle of balance oil, and $3 will be the shipping cost. Okay, you realize the shipping cost is half of the initial order. All right, so why is it half? Okay, because the deduction is monthly, the subscription is monthly subscription. Okay, every month we'll deduct $62 from the credit card and debit card. Okay, but we ship once every 2 months. We save for you, we save the shipping cost for you. So we deliver once every 2 months of balance oil to you. So first subscription, we will not ship. The company will not ship to you. Second subscription, company will send the first and second subscription to you. So you have two oils. Same thing, third month we deduct but no shipment. Fourth month, okay, we'll send two oils and the second test kit. Okay, so imagine that the first test, your customers, the test result came out like 40:1. First test 40:1. 4 months later, the result came out 4:1 or 5:1. Wow, he see good improvement. He obviously is happy and he will continue to be your subscribing customer. Okay, so the subscribed customers must be at least for 6 months. Okay, must be for 6 months. Then you can enjoy the premium price. Okay, so the first reason why you should become our premium customer, okay, is that you can enjoy the product at a more affordable pricing, and you need time. You need to give the product a chance. Okay, you need some time for your body to because if let's say you just take one time the oil, obviously you don't see a lot of difference. We need to give ourselves more time. That's why you need to be on subscription. Okay. All right. So this is the first reason why you want to become a subscribed customer. Okay. And this is the this kit is the best seller. Okay, best subscribing customer kit. Okay, in the whole company. And we had another kit that is for the this is the second best seller. Okay, where you had the balance oil and test balance oil and Elixir together. Okay, all right. So the first reason why you should become a premium customer is you can get the product at better price. And the second reason why you should become our premium customer, subscribing customer, is that you can enjoy the product for free. Okay, you can enjoy your subscribe order for free. Okay, let's say for example, okay, because every month you got to pay $62, right? You got to pay $62, okay, for the subscription for one bottle of oil. Okay, let's say now your customer, we call your customer A. Customer A got this kit already and subscribed to 6 months. Okay, on month 2, on your customer A month 2, okay, he got 4 customers buying the same thing and on subscription for 6 months. Okay, from month 3 onwards, from month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, your customer A, right, will receive his subscription for free. Okay, meaning to say he don't pay 62 anymore. He don't pay 62 every month anymore. Okay, you only pay $3 for shipping. Okay, so okay, I go to the chart. I go to this. Okay, so you refers to your customer A. Okay, your premier customer A. A buy the balance oil with test kit. Okay, so A got 4 friends. Also subscribing to the test and oil for at least 6 months. Okay, so your customer A, okay, your customer A will get his subscription for free. Yeah, from 3rd month onward, 3rd month, 4th month, 5th month, 6th month. Okay, on every month, okay, the subscription will be free. Okay, and all your customer A pay is shipping. Okay, so this is the second reason why your customers should be on subscription. Why should they should be on premium customer with subscription? Because your customer A can get free product, okay, from his subscription, and all he pay is shipping. All right, and okay, so this is the second reason why he should be on subscription. Okay, and the third reason why you should have subscribing customer is that, okay, the customer can enjoy customer reward program. Okay, customer reward program. So your customer who are on subscription, there will be a shipping, because every month there will be a shipping fee, right? Initial, there's the first order is $6, and then the subsequent month is three Singapore dollars every month for the shipping fee. All these shipping fees is equivalent to what we call the Zeno Cash. And what is this Zeno Cash for? Okay, Zeno Cash is for your customers to redeem free product. Once they accumulate sufficient Zeno Cash credit, okay, they can redeem, your subscribing customer can redeem the Zeno Cash for free product, can redeem the balance oil, can redeem Xenobiotic, can redeem skin serum. Okay, but he has to make sure that he got sufficient first. Okay, so this customer reward program, you had 2 reward level as well. First reward level, shipping cost equal to Zeno Cash. Okay, all right, because we want to encourage our customer to be on subscription for a long time. So from the 7th subscription onwards, okay, Zeno Cash will increase from not just the shipping cost, but they also get 10% of the order. Okay, so this Zeno Cash, right? This Zeno Cash, from your customer 7 subscription onwards, the Zeno Cash will increase not just $3, but $3 plus 59. 59 is the is for one bottle of this balance oil, right? 10% of 59 will be 590. Okay, 3 plus 590, 890. Yeah, from your subscribing customers 7 order onwards, 7 subscription onwards, okay, they will get 890 Zeno Cash instead of 3 Zeno Cash. Okay, 7 month 890, 8 month 890, 9 month 890, and so forth. Okay, so once they got they have accumulated sufficient Zeno cash, okay, they can use this Zeno cash to redeem free product. Okay, so these are the 3 reasons why we should encourage premier customer with subscription. Okay, so and of course, for new customers, if let's say you do not know how to make the purchase for this, don't worry. Okay, contact the person who invite you to this call. Okay, tell them that, hey, I want to get myself tested, I want to start the balance oil, start the Elixir, start the Xenobiotic. We had a different subscribing package for every product. Okay, so your partner will assist you with the ordering. Okay, that's all for my sharing today. All right, thank you very much for listening. All right, and I know it's late already, and I hope I have addressed your questions. Okay, what happened after the 6 months period? Okay, the subscribing customers will continue. The subscription will keep on, will be automatic. Okay, the committed period is 6 months, but the deduction will keep continue. Okay, unless we receive an instruction from your customer to stop the subscription. I hope it answers your question, Jen. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you had a better understanding of how our subscribing customer works. Okay, and tomorrow tomorrow at 9 p.m. I will have a sharing in Mandarin, same session. Okay, customer sharing in Mandarin as well tomorrow 9 p.m. So for those people who wish to listen to the Mandarin session, I will be there doing the sharing. All right, okay, thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day ahead. Okay, bye for now. Thank you. Good night.